You're listening to Keek on the Mic. Keek on the Mic. A podcast all about the Chicago Bears. This podcast starts right now. Keek on the Mic.
Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Keek on the Mic, a podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Today we have big news about a potential trade of Deshaun Watson maybe to the Bears. And this episode of Keek on the Mic starts right now.
Now this is a podcast all about Bears. You either cheering for this team or just pulling your hair. I like to take a minute, just sit right back and tell you how I became the number one Bears fan. That boy is Benny Hunter. Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic, Keek on the mic. People, this the intro. Sacramento, California, born and raised. And Antelope is where I spend most of my days. Talk bad about my team, you must be a clown. This is Keek on the mic, so you know you better bear down. Bear down, bear down, bear down.
So the Bears have a chance to, basically put it this way, they have a chance to make things right. You know, everyone has been giving Bears and Bears fans crap all these years since 2017 when they moved up to trade up and get Mitchell Trubisky in the 2017 draft, passing on Deshaun Watson, passing on Patrick Mahomes, and we have not heard the end of it. But that may actually change, and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I am freaking pumped. Yes, it's only a rumor. Yes, it's only a rumor. But whenever there's a rumor, sometimes it turns into something else. Everyone remembers, you know, back when we got Khalil Mack, it was just a rumor, and then we end up getting Khalil Mack. So before we get deep into this video, make sure you drop a subscription, make sure you like this podcast, and you'll also be able to listen to this podcast episode on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you also follow me at Keek on the Mic on my Instagram account. That'll be much appreciated. So earlier today when I woke up, it was a normal morning, but then I got a little buzz that Deshaun Watson, there's been rumors that Deshaun Watson of the Houston Texans may be asking for a trade. This is huge news because everyone knows that the Chicago Bears will potentially move on from Mitchell Trubisky depending how he does in this playoff game this weekend, or maybe if he takes us on a playoff run, things could change. But if Deshaun Watson becomes available, I expect the Bears to be all in. When I mean all in, they need to dive in head first and try to get Deshaun Watson and try to make things right. So it started off as a rumor that Deshaun Watson has been telling his teammates that he may ask for a trade. But then Tyrann Mathieu, the honey badger from the Kansas City Chiefs, tweeted that he thinks the Saints, Bears, and 49ers should be all in if Deshaun Watson, in fact, does request a trade. This is not too surprising because when Bill O'Brien was the head coach / GM, whatever he was trading away everybody. He traded away DeAndre Hopkins, Watson's favorite receiver. So, and everything has been going downhill for the Texans. You know, they don't have a first round pick this upcoming draft. So obviously they're looking for some more draft capital. And I'm not going to sit here and lie. The Bears are in no position to try to trade for anybody like Deshaun Watson. But let me tell you, you have to break bank to get Deshaun Watson if he becomes available. The question looms with this Bears franchise is, will Ryan Pace actually pull the trigger? And this is a question I was thinking about before I came on this podcast because it's actually an interesting question. Will he pull the trigger if Deshaun Watson becomes available? And the answer is to that question is yes, he should pull the trigger because this could be a job-saving move for Ryan Pace. I'm not saying Ryan Pace may get to stick around, but if you bring in Deshaun Watson, the Bears franchise may be like, you know what, we'll give him another year to see how Deshaun Watson works out. And more than likely, I truly believe that Deshaun Watson would, in fact, actually work out for the Chicago Bears. And another question is, what would this trade mean for this franchise? It would mean everything. You know, back in 2017, there was a lot of Bears fans that actually wanted Deshaun Watson. There's actually a couple of Bears fans that wanted maybe Patrick Mahomes. But instead, we traded up a whole bunch of draft capital to draft Mitchell Trubisky. And I am half and half on Mitchell Trubisky. I describe Mitchell Trubisky as a relationship that you just can't get rid of. You know, you think you want to break up with this relationship, but then they do something good, so you give them another chance. That is Mitchell Trubisky to me. My thing is, if you traded up all those picks back in 2017 to draft Mitchell Trubisky out of North Carolina. What is the problem with trying to go get Deshaun Watson when you know that that would be the answer to your franchise quarterback? A lot of people will sit here and say, well, Bubba, do you actually think Deshaun Watson's going to work? How about he comes to Chicago and it doesn't work out? People, look at here. If you get Deshaun Watson, a once-in-a-lifetime talent, he's right. I would consider him right behind Patrick Mahomes when you think about talent level, maybe even better at some points. And you're able to re-sign A-Rob, when you have Tariq Cohen, when you have the offensive line blocking better, when you have David Montgomery running his ass off. I think it would be an incredible fit for Deshaun Watson. And I also think that this will not only mean Super Bowl appearances, but many Super Bowl appearances, and hopefully a Super Bowl. So when you're thinking about trades like this, and that's why we brought in Khalil Mack a couple years back, is we knew that would be a franchise-altering move to help the franchise try to get a Super Bowl, and this move would just add to that. And like I said, I don't want to get anybody too excited, but it is just a rumor. But rumors can definitely turn into something more, so that's why I felt the need to come on here and just talk about it. So here's the interesting part. What would the Bears actually have to give up draft capital wise to get Deshaun Watson? And I have 4 trade packages here that the Bears would send to Houston Texans in exchange for Deshaun Watson. And obviously, I want you guys to comment below and tell me what you guys think, and maybe even tell me what trade packages you would give up to get Deshaun Watson on the Chicago Bears. So, number 1, I would give up a 2021 first-round pick. And in all 4 of these trade packages, you're going to have to give up a first-round pick. There's no way you're going to be able to just give up a third or a fourth and a player and thinking you're going to get Deshaun Watson. It's just not going to work out that way. So I would give up a first, a 2021 fourth, and a 2022 third. And that was my first trade packages. I think if you bundle up a couple of those picks, I think the Houston Texans will take it for the simple fact that 1, their franchise is really not going anywhere, and 2, the Texans do not have a first-round pick in this upcoming draft. So the second trade package I would do is a first and Eddie Jackson. And before people attack me about trading away Eddie Jackson is not the same Eddie Jackson back what he was in 2018. And that has a lot to do with the defensive coordinator change with Vic Fangio now getting Chuck Pagano. And the truth of the matter is Eddie Jackson is meant to be a ball hawk. But how Pagano is playing him is he uses him in a box as a strong safety, when Eddie Jackson is truly a free safety. As you can tell if you watch the tape, Eddie Jackson struggles at making open field tackles, coming in the box and making those big tackles. He's meant to roam and become that ball hawk player that we all come to know and love. So I would actually be comfortable with trading away a first and Eddie Jackson in exchange for hopefully our franchise quarterback. So my third one would be a first, and this one's going to be kind of funny, a first, Nick Foles, Robert Quinn, and a 2022 third-round pick. Will the Texans take this? Probably not. Who wants Nick Foles and who wants Robert Quinn on that ridiculous deal? But if somehow we could pull this trade off, that would be a huge win for the Chicago Bears and the Chicago Bear franchise. And my last package, and this one would probably be the one that we would have to give up, and I feel like most Bears fans would agree with me right here. A 2021 and a 2022 first-round pick and a 2022 third. I feel like if we want Deshaun Watson, if we want to make that trade to change our franchise and to give us a chance to get to the big dance, this is the one that we probably would have to give up. So like I said, I want you guys to comment below and tell me what you guys think. Do you guys think the Texans will actually trade Deshaun Watson? And if he does become available, do you think the Bears will actually trade for him? And also comment below, tell me what you would give up for Deshaun Watson. And I'm interested to see how this plays out. Obviously, he's not too happy with Houston, so I'm super pumped to see what happens. And I think this could be a big-time move for the Chicago Bears. But before I end this podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button below. That would be much appreciated. Make sure you like this podcast. Make sure you share this podcast to all the Chicago Bears fans that you know. Make sure you also follow me on my Instagram account at Keek on the Mic. And you can also listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts. Make sure you rate and review this podcast. That would be much appreciated. But other than that, I'll see you guys next time for an all-new Bears video right here on Keek on the Mic.